So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text number 12. Kangsataha karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devata sipram hi manuse loke siddhir bhavati karmaja Kangsantaha karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devata sipram hi manuse loke siddhir bhavati karmaja Kangsantaha karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devataha sipram hi manuse loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Somebody like to try? Anybody else? Okay, synonyms, so word for word. Kangshanata, desiring. Karmanam, of fruit of activities. Siddhanam, perfection. Ejante, they worship by sacrifices. Iha, in the material world. Devataha, the demigods. Sipram, very quickly. He, certainly. Manusa, in human society. Loke, within this world. Siddhi, success. Bhavati, comes. Karmaja, from fruit of work. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. So let's try and repeat Prabhupada's translation. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship who? The demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There is a great misconception about the gods or demigods of this material world. And men of less intelligence, although passing as great scholars, take these demigods to be various forms of the Supreme Lord. Actually, the demigods are not different forms of God, but they are God's different parts and parcels. God is one, and the parts and parcels are many. The Vedas say, Nityo Nityanam, God is one, Ishvara Parama Krishna. The Supreme God is the one, Krishna, and the demigods are delegated with powers to manage this material world. These demigods are all living entities, Nityanam, with different grades of material power. They cannot be equal to the Supreme God, Narayana, Vishnu or Krishna. Anyone who thinks that God and the demigods are on the same level is called an atheist. Oh, heavy. Or Pashyandi. Even the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva cannot be compared to the Supreme Lord. In fact, the Lord is worshipped by the demigods such as Brahma and Shiva. Shiva Virinchi Nutam, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.33. Yet curiously enough, there are many human leaders who are worshipped by foolish men under the misunderstanding of anthropomorphism or zoomorphism. Two big words. We're going to learn some big words today and see what these words mean. Okay. Iha Devataha, devotees, denotes Iha Devataha, denotes a powerful man or demigod of this material world. But Narayana, Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, does not belong to this world. He is above or transcendental to material creation. Even Sripad Shankaracharya, the leader of the impersonalists, maintains that Narayana or Krishna is beyond this material creation. However, foolish people, Rita Jnana, Bhagavad Gita 7.20, worship the demigods because they want immediate results. They get the results, but do not know that the results so obtained are temporary and are meant for less intelligent persons. The intelligent person in Krishna consciousness, The intelligent person is in Krishna consciousness, and he has no need to worship the paltry demigods for some immediate temporary benefit. The demigods of this material world, as well as their worshippers, will vanish with the annihilation of this material world. The boons of the demigods are material and temporary. Both the material worlds both the material worlds and the inhabitants, including the demigods, are their worshippers, and their worshippers are bubbles in the cosmic ocean. In this world, however, human society is mad after temporary things such as the material opulences of possessing land, family, and enjoyable paraphernalia. To achieve such temporary things, people worship the demigods or powerful men in human society. If a man gets some ministership in the government by worshipping a political leader, he considers that he has achieved a great boon. All of them are therefore, how do you pronounce that? Kowtowing. 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 This is Old English, I think, huh? Kowtowing. Yeah, this actually, this comes from the Chinese reverence of the emperor. This is a Chinese derivative, and it means to offer prostrate, like how we say obeisances. Yeah, it's like very reverential, but in bodily gesture towards a great person. Kowtowing. Old English. Like the other word is there, poultry. Prabhupada is famous for using that, poultry. So poultry means, it's actually regarded to yes, insignificant, but in modern context the spelling is different, the pronunciation is same. Poultry, like a fowl or a chicken, you know. Yes, the pronunciation, the spelling is different, but
pronunciation is different also.
oh, okay. Poultry. Okay, poultry. Okay, many new words here today. So if anybody's come for an English class also, we're gonna see these big words and these. You made it in English? Oh, wonderful. Okay. Okay, let's carry on with Prabhupada's purport. To the so-called leaders or big guns, in order to achieve temporary boons, and they indeed achieve such things, such foolish men are not interested in Krishna consciousness for the permanent solution to the hardships of material existence. They are all after sense enjoyment, and to get a little fascinating facility, to get a little facility for sense enjoyment, they are attracted to the worship empowered living entities known as demigods. This verse indicates that the people are really interested in Krishna consciousness. They are mostly interested in material enjoyment, and therefore they worship some powerful living entity. Very big purport. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayaham Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanamuscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Tam Tam Satsajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanamuscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyachari Sacharine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, we are in a very, very interesting part of the Bhagavad Gita. I'm just trying to get my direction here. So, we're in a very interesting part of the Bhagavad Gita. Today we're learning many new words, and we're learning about why do people worship these demigods. It's a prominent part of, especially in India, Hindu culture, and it's there in a different way in Western culture also. They revere angels and different personalities like that. But very prominent in India. So we're going to go over that a little bit and see what Krishna says about this. Why do people worship these demigods? And towards the end of the class, there's a very interesting video that we have that it's going to teach us firsthand how to understand the whole, as Prabhupada would say, plethora of demigods and the different worshipable deities in connection with Krishna. So this is going to help us a lot in our preaching activities when we meet people, because you're going to meet people who worship anything and everything, and how would we be able to speak with people like this? So we're going to learn different things today. Okay? So before we start with our verse today, just a little background, because the seed of this is coming from 4:11, or yesterday's verse. So Krishna is saying that ye tamam prapadyante tamstatevam bhajamyaham mama vatmana vartante manusya partha sarvasaha. So he's saying, as those who surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. And the second part is interesting, that all people follow my path. So from those two parts of that verse is leading into today's, what we're going to discuss today. So let's just see 11 quickly, what Krishna is saying there. In 11, just in the translation quickly, Krishna is saying they all these people, they actually come to me. So why do people, if they're coming to Krishna, why don't they worship Krishna directly? If actually all these parts are supposed to come to Krishna, then why don't they just worship Krishna directly? Because he's the one who's bestowing everything. So Prabhupada gives that explanation in today's purport. It's because they want certain things, fruitive activities. We're going to explore that a little bit just now. So in the first two lines of that verse, Yayatama prapadyante tamstatevam bhajamyaham, it's giving Krishna's idea of reciprocating. That as they surrender unto me, I reciprocate. How? By rewarding accordingly. That means if they don't surrender in full, like a devotee would, then I want to give them full reward. But if as they surrendering unto me, then what they want through their deity of worshipable deity, then I reward them. So the first two lines is explaining this part of reciprocation. But the second two lines explain something that's a little different, and this is where the Mayavadis twist this. And we're going to see that a little bit and then come into today's verse, how that happens. So, yes. So in the second part, Krishna says that all people follow my path. So the Mayavadis, what do they say? They say all path leads to me. But Krishna is actually saying there, all people follow my path. He's not saying all paths lead to the one goal. Now if he actually was saying that, then in other parts of the Gita he wouldn't emphasize that there are different paths. Right? The Mayavadis are saying, hey, Krishna is saying here all paths lead to me. That means you can choose whichever path you want and you'll still come to Krishna. All is one, all paths lead to the same goal. Service to man is service to God. All these aphorisms they use. But clearly Krishna is not saying that, and that's the basis of today's verse, because there are different gradations of worship, and if you understand that, then according to what you want you will follow that. Now it's not saying that the demigod worship is wrong, but Prabhupada is stressing in the purport, like we'll see that it's temporary. It's not a permanent thing, because the demigods themselves has to leave their material situation. They are also living entities, but they are empowered living entities. And what is their service or their purpose? They are in charge of universal order. They take care of the universal order. So they have a service to do. But at the same time, according to Vedic scripture, it is like a contract that even though you don't have faith or love for that entity, that demigod, but if you worship as is given in the Vedic scripture, you will get a result. It's like a contract. If you sign a contract, whether you like the owner or not, you'll still get your reward. Right? So that's the understanding there. So it's not that the demigod is like where you can have a loving relationship. You don't have to understand, like in 4.10 or 4.9, that the birth and activities of this personality. It's not required, but for Krishna it is. If you want to understand Krishna, it's important to understand his Janma Karma, Chame Divyam. So there's a distinction here. It's a temporary aspect of worship, and like Prabhupada is saying, for those who are intelligent, they will go to the root, because the source of all the demigods is the root. We'll see that just now. So if Krishna is actually saying all paths lead to him, like these Mayavadis are saying, how would you refute this? If a Mayavadi comes up to you and says, you know what, Krishna in this verse is saying in 4.11, he's saying, Mamavat manavartante, all path comes to me. How would you as devotees challenge this person? So let's see. We're going to start in verse 331. Okay, so open to 331. That's one of the seed verses in which you can use, even if you don't learn it off, but at least know what it's saying there. Chapter 3, verse 31. Right? Krishna is saying here in the translation, those persons who execute their duty according to my injunction. Whose injunction? Krishna's injunction. Right? And who follow this teaching. Which teaching? That of the Bhagavad Gita and Vedic scripture. Faithfully, right? Without envy. What happens to them? They become free from the bondage of fruitive action. So it's very distinct. There's a requirement here. You have to follow Krishna's teaching as he is saying. Then only you can become free from bondage. It's not that all paths will lead to the same thing. Right? If all paths lead to the same thing, then why follow specifically Krishna is saying here, why follow me specifically, what I am teaching specifically? There's a specific point. Right, let's see the next verse, 32. In 32 translation, Prabhupada translates here, Krishna says, but those who out of envy disregard these teachings. That means if you want to do what you feel like and think all is going to lead to the same thing, what is the result here? And do not follow them regularly. You have to follow them regularly. Not you can do your own thing. Then Krishna says, are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. You will be ruined in your endeavor for perfection if you don't follow what Krishna is saying. You can't just do your own thing. So remember these two verses when you're meeting somebody who says this, all is one, we all merge into the one path, and Krishna is saying clearly here, it's not like that. Okay? Let's see them. Because this is the deciding point of why to worship Him then. If you're intelligent, then you'll say, listen, why do I need to worship the demigods then? Let me just focus on one person. It's easier. It's intelligent. Let's see in the crowning verse, 9:25. Chapter 9, verse 25. This is very decisive because here Krishna is clearly pointing out this point. Chapter 9, verse number 25. In the translation. Prabhupada's translation here. Those who worship the demigods. Let's see what happens to them. Those who worship the demigods will take birth amongst the demigods. It's not that you go to Krishna, you take birth amongst their demigods. Okay, those who worship the ancestors, where do they go? They go to the ancestors. They don't go to Krishna, neither do they go to the demigods. There's two parts being spoken here. Let's see if there's more. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth amongst such beings. There's a third part. That means if you're doing this kind of tantric, sorcery kind of worship, you'll go in that direction. Does it say all will become one? No. It's three different directions so far. Let's see if there's more. And those who worship me. Okay. Now Krishna is saying something here. Those who worship me will live with me. You'll come to Krishna. So it's very clear that there's different parts. And just in this 9:25, there's 4 parts. So if you have that solid basis, then in today's verse, it will be very clear that if I want something, if I'm looking for something, then it's better I go to the source of all sources. Like Krishna Prabhupada quotes these 2 Sanskrit verses, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam Eko Bahunam Jo Vididadi Kamam, and Ishvara Parama Krishna, famous verse. Because Krishna is the root, the source. So if you're intelligent, you'll still get your desires fulfilled, but if Krishna is intervening, He'll see whether you deserve it or not, whether it will help you get back to Him or it will trap you in this material world. And according to that concession, Krishna will give you what you require. So it's a very definitive kind of thing here that we're talking about today. So why worship demigods? Prabhupada says very clearly, because they quickly satisfy one. One of the names of Lord Shiva, Prabhupada quotes Lord Shiva and Brahma a lot, is called Ashitosh. Ashu means quickly, isn't it? Ashu. Ashitosh means to satisfy. Toshana. So one who is quickly satisfied, very easily pleased. We'll see more about that just now. And Lord Brahma also, Brahma is the secondary creator, so he has his purpose also, but he's still a demigod. That prefix demi means it's less of a god. That means he's not the supreme. So if you are intelligent, you'd inquire, who is the supreme then? How do I get the supreme? So this contract I was telling you, that demigods, they are under an obligation of contract. If you worship them, you will get the result of that worship. Not necessarily that you have to be a devotee of them, which is very different from Krishna, because Krishna's definition is Bhakti Mam Abhijanati. Only by devotion you can understand me, or you can actually get to understand who I am, how to come to me. That's Krishna's requirement. With the demigod, it's not like that. It's you do that particular activity, yajna. According to that result, you'll get your fruit of work, the fruits of your work. So it's more like a business interaction. It's not devotional. So if one is a little bit more, in front of the gate here, we get these personalities coming. Hey, Sunny Bhagwan. You get the guy coming. I may have seen him there. Sunny Bhagwan. And he's got his tiffin and he's got all his paraphernalia there. So, now one may say, oh yeah, he's the presiding deity of Saturn, and we should be careful, any pap and everything there, I should put some donation there, But Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam, and he's Ishvara Parama. So if we just have one focal point of Krishna, all the other leaves of the tree is watered. He's the root. He's the root. And we see this because people may say, well, okay, you're saying this there and Krishna is saying that, but where's the proof that Krishna has actually benedicted someone? Because it seems like he doesn't do that much. He doesn't actually give material things a lot. Krishna actually takes a lot away, right? So the example of this is given in Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj. There are probably more, but those three come to mind. These three personalities surrendered everything to Krishna. And Krishna, just to prove that I don't just take away everything, my devotees originally had this desire. Dhruva Maharaj wanted a kingdom as big as his grandfather, right? And he got not only a kingdom, he got a whole planet. Prahlad Maharaj also, he said, I don't want anything material. He says, no, take something. And Bali Maharaj surrendered the whole universe. And the last foot, put it on my head. Then Krishna became Vamandev, who's his doorkeeper. So it shows, the examples are there, that Krishna may take away things, but for one who's surrendered, Krishna gives everything. Prabhupada went to America with how much? 40 rupees. You won't even go to Delhi with 40 rupees. Isn't it? Yeah. It costs much more than that. I won't even go to Mathura with 40 rupees. Prabhupada went to America with 40 rupees. And when he came back, Krishna gave him the whole world. 108 temples in his lifetime. So this is Krishna. When he wants to give you something, remember he has Virat Roop, universal form. You only have two hands. How much can you hold? And if he wants to take away, he can use those thousands of hands also. So let's see. The other example also was Sudama. Sudama Brahman, Sudama Vipra. Same thing. He went with a very pure heart to Krishna. Gave him a fantastic palace. He couldn't even recognize, where is this place? Am I back home? What is it? He couldn't recognize where he was. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes also, we have Kulavecha Sridhar. Simple Khola wala, somebody who sells bananas. Simple person, but his heart was so full. Mahaprabhu blessed him so much because of his sincerity. Then we see the other extreme of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who had so much of wealth. And then we see that of Maharaj Prataparudra also, so much of wealth, but a great devotee of the Lord. So many examples are there. So if we worship demigods, the only thing that we get is quick results, quick temporary results. And anything that comes quick, goes quick. It will go quickly also. You'll never be satisfied with it. Because the nature of the mind, you've just satisfied only one of your desires, which apparently at that moment, according to the modes, happen to be the strongest. Now what about those other millions of desires that are there in the background? You think you can satisfy all of them? But Krishna is saying, if you just take shelter of me, as you surrendering unto me, I will reward accordingly. Accordingly means to the amount of purification that you need to go through, and at the same the amount of satisfaction that you need to be or to have within this material world. Now there's another interesting word Prabhupada uses is iha devataha. Prabhupada uses that in the word for word, or even and he explains that it's not only demigods. In the current situation, it's also greatly empowered people, like politicians. And then we learned this big word there, right? Kotowing, right? Which means to offer prostrate obeisance to someone. Or it means to become in local colloquial language, I can switch the mic off, chela.
The word could also imply obsequious.
What does it mean?
There's another big word, obsequious.
Can you use the mic? Okay.
Is it a bell?
Hello.
There's another word called obsequious.
Obsequious.
Obsequious
Obsequious.
means fawning. It means, always praising the person on pretense
Yes.
because they want something out of it.
Yes. And if you think about it, we're doing the same thing with the demigods, right?
False humility,
Yes.
basically.
False humility. Thanks for that. So there's another word we heard here today. So, before we go on there to the purport, just want to see something quickly, show you something quickly. And then we have this wonderful video which is quite interesting. Here. Yes. Okay. So can everybody read that word? That's the word Prabhupada used in the one of the big words that he put in the purport. So who would like to read the word and the definition? Somebody volunteer? Anybody? Anybody? Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah?
Can you use the mic?
Yes.
Can you use the microphone?
Yeah. The mic would be anthropomorphism.
Krishna. Anthropomorphism
And the definition below.
attribution of human characteristics or behavior to a god, animal or object.
Yes. So this anthropomorphism, to give human characteristics to God, because the common idea in the world today is that God is formless, He's impersonal. Prabhupada quoted Shankaracharya in the purport. So He's impersonal, but to give Him some human trait is called anthropomorphism. Big word, new word you learned today. Let's see the other word Prabhupada uses there also. Yes, this word. You would like to again? This word? Zoomorphism.
Zoomorphism, yeah.
Okay, what does it mean?
The attribution of animal forms or qualities to a god.
Yes. So animal forms or qualities to a god. Now we know we revere or worship Lord Nrsingadev, right? We have many animal features of expressions of Krishna's divinity. We have the boar incarnation, the fish incarnation, turtle, and Nrsingadev, yeah? Swan? Swan incarnation, yes. Right, sure. Swan incarnation. Yes. So many other, so many. So in technical language that will be called zoomorphism. Like zoo is where you get animals, right? You can learn it in that way. So you learned two big words today, and then Mother Parvati gave us a third, and a fourth we learned when we were reading out. So not only does our tradition speak about God having animal feature forms, also but we also have a female aspect. This is very rare, that God has a female aspect. You know, it's not in all tradition, because God is usually known as the male aspect. But for God to be complete, He has a female feature also. So this also comes out, and we know in our tradition, this comes out as Srimati Radharani. So this is another picture of her. So this is a very interesting phase. It says, if you ate today, thank a farmer. But did the farmer actually grow the food? He just was the caretaker. Who gave the rain? Who gave the soil? Who gave the sunshine for that plant to grow or the food to grow? Who did that? See, that aspect is not being considered, which is more important than just taking care, because we see that like a big tree, like an apple tree, doesn't need much care, does it? It will fructify when the season is there. It will fructify. But still, it does need water, it does need sunshine, it does need the earth to hold it. So those features are being exempt. And those are the services of the demigods, the universal managers. And they take care of these features. So just to say thank the farmer is not complete. You have to thank the devatas also. And higher than that, how do you appreciate them? Because they're 33 crore. How many can you count? Can you count 100? Does anybody know 100 demigods? Does anybody know 50? So how do you appreciate everyone? Who's the one who's blinking your eyelid? You have to thank him, otherwise your eyes will dry up. Right, Prabhu? So, we don't know these devatas. We don't know all of them. We know those ones that give us that prominent, but all of the others we don't know. Prabhupada describes a whole plethora of demigods.
The next line should say, the farmer should thank God.
Yes, that would be a good one. Farmers should thank God. So we have to see the source, the root. And if you acknowledge Krishna, you're acknowledging everyone. Everyone is pleased. So we all want this material enjoyment. We all want material things. But it's not always coming our way, and it's temporary. So this is, I think I showed you this once before, a millionaire. Somebody who has no money or no material assets. Very much like where most of our devotees are in that state. But in their heart, they have Krishna. They have some connection with Krishna. So if He's the source of everything, Bhokta Jagya Tapasyanam, you're connected to the source of everything. So this is just some new technology I thought I'd share with you. Not to encourage you, but just to show you how material enjoyment can be eluding. Do you know what this is? It's a TV screen. It's a new kind of TV. It's called a circular TV. When in our days, in my early days, it used to have the big tube, right? The tube, the big TV with a big back, with the big, it's a big box, right? Then later on technology came up as flat screen, LCD, LED. Now the new technology is what? Curved TV. So your peripheral vision is also being caught into that hole to give a much more stronger impression, as if it's not doing a good job, right? So this is the new technology. So if you get caught in that and think, wow, I'd like to have that, I'd like to, whatever you would see on that, it's temporary. Prabhupada is saying that it's temporary. So Lord Shiva, one of the deities mentioned in the purport, this is zoomorphism, as they would say. This is Lord Nrsingadev. And if somebody who doesn't know Vedic tradition or Vedic culture would say this is zoomorphism, the big word we learned this now, worshipping an animal feature as divine. So this is just to give you ideas of how people pray and people see the world. So generally we pray to the devatas like we've been learning. Why? Because we need protection of our family, like this little cat is praying here, right? We need, please protect my family, please protect them, please make sure that is okay, please, 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 please. Where is the bhakti in this? Anything is saying there, please give me devotional service? No. Please, I need, you have to protect, I have to, look after this, that and the other. This is typical kind of worship. And this Prabhupada is encouraging us in today's verse is temporary. It's good sentiment because you have some idea of a higher being, of God intervening in your life. But it's not devotional, like Krishna mentioned in 4.9, 4.10. Let's see. This, I showed this the last time also. This person, his father is a very rich man and he bought him this Ferrari, golden Ferrari. And he's in America, so he writes to his father and says, Dad, I'm a little embarrassed to drive this big expensive sports car to work when all my friends take the train. So his father replies back, son, don't embarrass us. There's $20 million in your account right now. Go and buy a train. So this is material enjoyment, temporary. And it comes down to faith. Do we have the faith that Krishna can actually give us that? Because if we don't, then we will take shelter. Yayatamam prapadyante, as they surrendering. So it's based on that surrender, is based on faith. And if we think material desires is what is spiritual, then we have a little, the understanding of what it means to be blessed is a little off. Krishna has something much more deeper, richer to give us. So, and if there's a spiritual connection with it, then we want something that's instant, like quick results, like fruit of work, fruit of activity, we want it quick. So if we're doing some kind of spirituality, like this little, what is this, a raccoon? What is it? Yeah, so it's saying that, come on, spiritual, I want it instantly, So you want it quick, so it comes quickly. But you cannot rush a relationship with Krishna like that. This again is another expression of zoomorphism or anthropomorphism. Those two big words we learned today. So the yogi who could walk on water. Because the nature of the, if you can control the elements, then you feel invincible. So this is a little higher level of material advancement, but it's subtle. And it's still within this material world. Even if you can walk on water, it's still not spiritual. It's still not transcendental. This is not me. So that picture was showing material enjoyment. You want to accumulate as much as you can to become as big as you are, as big as you can, both physically and in status. And you see in the background here, all the demigods. This is Krishna's Virat Roop. And they're all his servants. So he's the center of all of them. This is what he's teaching Arjuna. If you're surrendering to me, then all of these personalities will be satisfied. And as we say in ISKCON, until you get fried, right? Until they get fried with material enjoyment, you won't come to the point of wanting to have a deep, substantial relationship with Krishna. That means understand this material thing is frustrating because you have unlimited desires. You only satisfied one. What about the unlimited millions in the background? How would you satisfy all of them? Let's see further. So we want to come to that point where we can have this wonderful loving relationship with Krishna. So I wanted to show you then. Can we get the mic here? I don't know how far the mic can come because I need some sound with it. Okay, see how far it can come. The 5 comes? Okay, alright, I'll try to pick the volume up a bit. Okay, just let me tell you what this is quickly. It's a documentary by His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami. and it's addressing this very fact. It's called Gods and Demigods, and it's trying to explain the point of who is the supreme God, and what is the, if you see a whole altar of different deities, how to understand then who is the supreme. So it's 10 minutes. It's now just before 6:30. So as it's going along,
2 weeks ago, I arrived in the Vrindavan airport
you can hear.
and stayed for a week, visit with the people at home. I was very much happy to visit with everyone. And in each place, I also had an opportunity to talk with the people living there. So one question which repeatedly came up was that people seemed somewhat confused that who is the supreme God? And therefore, two nations. So in this regard, these personalities who are exhibited on our altar this evening are perhaps most often seen in people's homes. So we wanted to discuss a little bit with everyone here. What is one particular God? Another people say another. Some of them say everyone. So we will be asking now a few of you. So you kindly tell us what is your idea of who is supreme and what is your reason. And then we will try to understand from the Shastra.
So observe the questions, and because when you're preaching to people, people are gonna have, these are common people. So you're gonna hear these kind of questions and answers and comments, and we can learn from this quick documentary how to answer these kind of people. Okay?
Ask a few people. Somebody can volunteer. Yes.
Well, from the pictures I can see, I think it's Lord Jesus.
So what would be your reason for selecting Lord Jesus?
Well, he's the Son of God.
He's the Son of God.
So he's saying Lord Jesus, but he also said he's the Son of God. So you can figure it out.
All right. Does anybody else have some choice? Who else? Wait, yes, sir. You can. This gentleman in the checkered shirt. You could give us your opinion, please. Take the microphone. What is your name, sir?
Amrit Lal.
Amrit Lal. You're a resident of the Suva area?
Yes.
Are you a business man
Yes.
here? What is your business?
Duty free and gift items.
Very good. So, Amrit Lal, could you give us an idea? If you had to select the Supreme God, who would you select from this altar?
Well, I think there are two main sects, say those who believe in Shiva and those who believe in Vishnu.
Yes, we have both of their pictures.
These two, Shiva, those who pray Shiva, and those who pray Vishnu, Vaishnava.
Now,
I think those two ways.
Now you have to say which is your preference.
I prefer both.
Very good. That's what we want to know tonight. Thank you very much.
So he's chosen both, and there are two lines. Yes. Okay. So he's chosen both. Let's see the next person.
No, not you, but Raman Lal. Are you also a resident of Suva?
Yes,
Are you a businessman here?
businessman,
What is your business?
custom house agent.
Oh, very important position. So, Raman Lal, could you give us an idea? If you were asked, who is the Supreme God?
Lord Krishna is the Supreme God.
Lord Krishna. Could you give some reason?
Reason according to Gita and Bhagavad, he is the Supreme God.
So you would base your reason on the philosophy presented in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam.
Bhagavad Gita, yes.
Thank you very much. This gentleman sitting in front of you, what is your good name?
Jagdish.
Jagdish. That is a very good name. Lord of the universe. Jagadish means Lord of the universe. We usually, if we give someone the name Jagadish, we say Jagadish Das. But anyway, Jagadish, if you had to, are you a resident here, Suva area?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Are you a businessman here?
Yeah.
What is your business?
Well, a little bit of wholesale.
Wholesale? Different items?
That's right, yeah.
Supermarket?
No.
What type of materials are you wholesaling?
Oh, just
Different items?
general item, yeah.
General items. So, Jagadish, if you had to select someone on the altar from the many pictures, who would you select as the supreme God?
Well, I think Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva. Could you give your reasons why you would select Lord Shiva?
No particular reason, but I have heard that Lord Shiva is the most kind.
Very merciful. Easily pleased.
So we heard that in today's purport also, right? Prabhupada is trying to show us that also Shiva, Brahma, very easily please the demigods. So he's a Shiva Bhakta and he says, so let's see the next person quickly.
That's good. Then, alright, if you had to select from these pictures who is God, who would you choose?
I love all of them, but I know the Lord Krishna and Rama and Vishnu is the supreme God.
You respect and love them all, but of the three, of all of them, you select three as supreme God.
Yes.
Lord Rama, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Krishna.
Yes.
All right. Then, what is your good name, sir?
Nagin.
So, Nagin, judging at all of the pictures on this altar, if you had to select a supreme God from amongst them, would you want to select any one in particular, or more than one, or all of them? Which would you do?
Well, it is a little difficult to say that something is supreme or the other is supreme, but exactly I would not be able to say who is supreme.
Difficult to say. That's all right. That is also an answer.
So you see that that person is answered. Well, to say something is supreme, it's not so easy to say that. So let all be supreme. That's the same point Krishna is not saying here. Mama Vartmana Vartante. They all follow my path, but it's not that all paths lead to me. Okay? So this person answered that. So be aware of that argument also. Oh, it's all supreme. Let's see the next person.
Look, are you a resident of Suva?
Yeah, I am.
And are you having any business here?
Yeah, I'm an import and export trade.
Very good. So, Hashnuk, if you had to select who is God from all of these pictures on the altar, who would you select?
Brahma, I would say.
You would say Brahma.
Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh.
You'll say all three. One or three.
Brahma is one.
You'll take Brahma.
So Prabhupada said that in the purport also. Remember, we were reading Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu. So here's somebody, exactly as Prabhupada has said, here's somebody who's also worshipping like that. Because he's the creator of the universe. Right? So it's clearly the person doesn't have the full understanding. It's what they've been taught. So here's the next one.
એમાં બધાને ભગવાન માને
All of them.
સબ એક સમાન.
See, Sab Ek, all is one. So we heard that one before. So be wary of that one also, right? Let's see the next one.
All right. Are you from Suva?
Yes.
So, now of all of these pictures here, who is the supreme God? Who is God?
I would select Lord Krishna as the supreme
Could you give your reason why, please?
because it is stated in Srimad Bhagavad that he is the supreme Lord.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now, there may be some pictures, or there may be some persons whose pictures are not shown on this altar. Someone here may think that there is God, but his picture is not on this altar. There's a different God that's not shown here. So if anyone thinks like that, let them raise their hand now. Yes, sir. What is your name?
Kanti?
Kanti. So Kanti, do you find any picture here to be the supreme God, or is there someone else you think would be supreme?
I think that Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba is the supreme God.
I see. So could you give your reason, please?
So we have somebody who's worshipping an incarnation, so to speak. So how would you speak to that person? How would you address that person? If you're preaching to that person, so listen to the arguments, right?
If God exists, then he has to be present.
So if God exists, he has to be present. So this person was present at that time. So how would you answer that question? That's it.
And Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba is present at the moment in India.
But we are all present also.
Maharaj says, well, we are also present. So we are also present. Then does that mean we God?
Yes, but he can do things that we cannot do.
Such as, please?
He is able to create things. He is able to perform miracles.
He creates what kind of things? Can you give an example, please?
He can produce some gold if you want.
Who is the jeweler man here?
So Maharaj says, we can produce gold. So Maharaj says, who's the jeweler around here? Who's the jewelry man? Who works in a jewelry shop? He produces gold also. So does that mean that somebody produces gold that they go out?
Do you have a jewelry shop? Do you have any gold in your shop? So is he God?
No, he is not God, but he only works on gold, but Sai Baba can produce gold.
But the result is the same. Both of them have gold, correct?
Yes, but if I went to Mr. Jogia and if I asked him for an ounce of gold, he won't give it to me, but if you went to Sai Baba, he would give you an ounce of gold.
So this makes him God.
Makes him God.
Any other reasons?
If you have got any problems like any disease or anything like that, then if you go to him, if you have faith in him, then he can cure your disease. And
But
see again, putting faith in the demigod, putting faith in some higher person, right? Same thing Prabhupada says in Prabhupada, right? So he's saying, well, if you're sick, you can also cure. So how to answer that?
hospitals are also doing that.
So Maharaj said, hospitals are also curing people. Does that mean hospitals are God?
yes, but he can cure diseases which our doctors cannot.
Now how do you answer that? He can cure a disease that the hospital can't cure. So let's
Such as, please?
Cancer?
Has he cured the disease called death?
Has he cured the disease called death? Because that's the ultimate disease. Once you cure that, you're not born again. So let's see how he answers.
I don't know. I don't think he has had the opportunity to do so.
What?
There's people dying all the time. How come there's no opportunity to cure them?
What do you mean he hasn't had the opportunity? People are dying all the time. Why doesn't he stop people from dying? If he says he's God, he can do that. So some of his devotees are dying?
I think so. But none of them have requested that you make me alive again. If somebody...
See, what are all of them requesting? Gold, good health, all these things that demigods give. Right? Who's asking for Krishna Bhakti? Like he's saying, none of them ask for these kind of things. Because the devotee just wants this. Right?
did that, then he might be able to make him alive.
I see. Does he say he is God?
I think he says he's God.
All right, thank you. Is there anybody else who thinks that some other person besides those here are God? Who would you select?
There are many people in Fiji who believe that Guru Maharaj is God because he can produce light.
Light or light?
Light, L-I-G-H-T.
So there's a person in Fiji who can produce light, and people believe that he's God because he can do that. So that's
But the electricity board is also doing that.
Maharaj said the electricity department is also producing light. So does that mean they're God?
So why aren't they God?
Well, this is what many people in Fiji believe.
Does he produce as much light as the sun?
That's not.
And in the city where he lives, does it ever get nighttime?
Oh yeah. But he can produce light even in the night, so they believe.
I see.
Okay, so this was just a little.
So this was just a little prelude to how to deal with people who, because you can see the whole range of different people there, and all of them had different beliefs and desires. But how many of, there was a few Krishna devotees also there, right? But very few of them would, like Prabhupada says, just a handful, or very few. Most of people want the goal, they want the good health, and those are not bad things. But if they connected with Krishna, it's like the proper understanding. Otherwise, it's temporary. So that's a point that we've learned in today's class, in today's verse, and we're already over time, so we'll stop there. Any quick one question or comment, anybody? Yes, please. You have the mic.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So the persons who worship demigods for some benefit. So I want to ask that the things which they obtain from them, is that thing part of their karma reactions, or is it out of that extra something?
Part of the karma
Part of means what they were destined to get, or is it out of that?
I don't, just clarify the question a little.
My question is,
yes,
that the thing which they worship the demigods for,
you're right,
is that thing when they obtain it
under karmic reaction?
Yeah, part of what they were destined to get, or is it out of that?
Well, usually you are altering your karma if you, because you have a set karma, set enjoyment. You will enjoy so much and suffer so much. But if you want a certain thing, you can actually get it. If you do a yajna, you do some kind of vrat to the demigods. But the intelligent person is thinking one higher. You only, even if you get that thing, like that golden Ferrari or whatever it is, you know, you've only satisfied one desire. You have millions of unlimited desires in the background. Is it possible to satisfy all of those? That's the intelligent person. So yes, there's karmic reaction. You do get a karma. Because as soon as you act, as soon as there's action, there's karma. Good action, good karma or bad karma. But the intelligent person thinks higher. If I'm going to say, okay, I need these basic necessities, but if I do without them, will I still not live? No, I can live. And if I get them, what will happen? Automatically, a side effect of that is attachment. And attachment incurs so many other things. There's so many other repercussions to that also. Once you get attached to something, then you have to protect it. Then you have to pray, Krishna, please protect my car. It's parked outside there. Please protect my cell phone. I left it somewhere there. You know, please. Then what is your prayer becoming? It's becoming like we saw that little cat. You know, please protect my family, please protect. It's just, Krishna, you're just my guardian. You know, like a surrogate. You just take care of what I need. That's not bhakti then. That's not devotional. What Krishna is offering is devotion. what we hankering for is material. So we say, think a little bit more. You can't actually satisfy all your desires. So if I can't do that, when I'm dedicating my life to serving and loving Krishna, am I actually short of anything? Is there anybody? What a beautiful festival we had today, Panahati. Unlimited amounts. We heard the pastime. So much of prasad. Anybody goes to sleep hungry here? Nobody. Anybody doesn't have proper decent clothing? Nobody. Everybody has a place to rest. In some places in the world, it's not there. In Africa, in Ethiopia, they don't get a proper food.